Hey, welcome to the next episode. Today we're joined by Zach Schubert, the CEO of Quera. Today we discussed how he generated over 2 million in 12 months with one of the most profitable yet underutilized marketing channels, organic, how you can set yourself up for success with SEO, and why he has more than 17,000 blogs. So let's get right into the episode. Today we're joined by Zach Schubert, the founder and CEO of Quera Marketing, and today we're going to be learning about organic marketing. What is it? Why do you need it for your brand? And why you're missing out on extra cash in the bank by not doing it. So Zach, happy to have you on.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it for the invite. Looking forward to talking about some organic marketing.
Amazing. So let's maybe just jump right into it. So first of all, what even is organic marketing? Can you just give us a quick explanation?
Yeah, I mean, the basic idea behind organic marketing is everything that you can do that isn't paid traffic. So nothing to do with Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, nothing to do with influencer marketing. So none of the traffic that's necessarily paid to bring traffic or anything to your website.
So it's basically something that is more natural, which happens essentially more organically. You basically plant a seed and let the people basically do the work of bringing your brand's name into the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. And then in terms of like organic marketing, like who is this for? Obviously right now most of our listeners are e-commerce brands. So with e-commerce brands, like is it something that every e-commerce brand should do, or is there different levels or different niches where this might be more interesting?
Yeah, absolutely. In my personal opinion, I believe it's something that in today's day and age is essential for any e-commerce brand. So it doesn't really matter what size you are, what realm you're in, what niche you're doing. I think it should be good for everyone. I think it should be the foundation that you do even before you jump into paid ads, into Facebook ads, because especially with the rising costs of Facebook ads and then the uncertainty of TikTok ads and the costs of Google ads, I think it's very essential for new brands, medium-sized brands, even larger brands to have somewhat of a foundation of organic, so that then you're able to nurture that audience that you're bringing in through that paid traffic, right? So that's what we spend a lot of our time doing is figuring out how to nurture that traffic, create content for that traffic, so that when there is a paid strategy in, yes, there is a lot of traffic that comes in organically, but also when there is a paid strategy that is added onto it, those leads then become cheaper because that audience is being nurtured.
Okay, interesting. And maybe in terms of like organic marketing, like what are these specific channels? Like what are these specific things that you usually implement? Like blogs, social media? Yeah, can you educate us on that?
Yeah, for sure. So the first two that we always recommend brands to start with is SEO and then organic social media, right? So for SEO, we can jump into that one real quick. There's three kind of basic pillars that I always break SEO down to. Well, the first one is all the on-site stuff. So it's fixing all the page speed, adding all your meta descriptions, your title tags, optimizing your image, optimizing your content, all the keywords for your content. Then the second pillar, which is the second most important one, is the content creation, where then you're actually adding content to your website. So adding blogs like you mentioned, or just adding products or different resources for people that are coming to your website. And that content basically is to show Google, hey, these are the keywords that I want to rank for. These are the keywords that apply to me. And basically just letting Google know who you are and what you do, right? But the way to get those keywords ranking is the third pillar, which is the most important pillar, which are backlinks, right? And that's actually that social proof. And Google's algorithm is leaning more and more towards social proof with the rise of social media and with the rise of needing that social proof to be legitimate, that it is very, very important for you to have that social proof, because you can have everything perfect on your website on site. You can have really good content, but if you don't have that social proof coming behind you, then you're not gonna rank on Google, right? Because Google can still think you're a spammy site, for example, right? Because you can I can do that, right? I can do that tomorrow and then go spam a bunch of people out of their money. So backlinks are the way in order to get that, which is basically when other blogs, other websites mention your site, right? So that's what we spend the majority of the time doing for our clients. We'll do 40 plus hours a week organically searching out backlinks, and that's really the only way to get backlinks, where you're actually researching, finding blogs, finding websites that are inside the brand's niche, and then sending them an email and saying, hey, would you mind mentioning me in your blog? Hey, I saw you have a blog about health and wellness. Would you mind mentioning my CMOS brand in there, or whatever it is, right? So different things like that. And blogs have no problem doing that for free because blogs make money based on visitors. So they're looking for they're constantly looking for new resource and good resources. So that's basically the idea of it. And then obviously we have kind of a cheat code. We own 70,000 blogs, so we're able to retrieve backlinks from there as well. So that we have a little bit of a cheat code there. But that's kind of the basic idea of SEO. And then once you do all of those things together, the first one is important to do. Google wants you to do it, but the last two are the most important. So once you do those and spend a lot of time, then you'll start ranking higher and higher for the keywords that are bringing you clients, right? And so you also need to work on your conversion rate, obviously, because you don't want to make sure that they're just window shoppers. You want to make sure that they're actually people that are purchasing your products. So we'll be switching out keywords and all that kind of stuff constantly. So that's SEO in a nutshell. I don't know if you wanted to jump into social media right now. I can explain that as well. But that one's a little bit more
Sure, I think that'd be great.
Yes,
I think
social media is a little bit more straightforward. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone kind of gets the gist of how to grow on social media. The best way to do it is through Reels on TikTok, or Reels on Instagram, or just posting videos on TikTok, right? So the idea, what we do for our clients is we study the trends. So we do a ton of trend research. We have a whole team to study all the trends that are happening on TikTok, the trending sounds, the trending hashtags, the trending videos, the trending challenges, whatever they are. And then we try and create 3 different pieces of content for our clients. So that first piece of content is where we're actually creating trending, following those exact trends, and then kind of slightly introducing the product, like, hey, this is who we are, but we're also just trying to follow the trend. We're just using the trendy sound, whatever it is. And that's what's really going to grow your following by getting crazy amount of views, right? Because people are like, oh, they have entertaining content, they have good resources, whatever it is. And then the last 2 pieces of content are more of like the middle of the funnel and top of the funnel. So the middle of the funnel kind of content is more educational, box opening type stuff. Look at how I look in all their different looks, different things like that are like, hey, this is how you use it. This is what you can wear it with. If it's like a jean jacket, like you can wear it with black pants. You can wear it with these pants. You can wear it with this. And more of that educational type stuff that isn't as trendy. We still try and involve trends in there, but those types of videos don't tend to go as viral. And then we have our last type of video, which is where we're directly pushing people to the website. So that's more of the bottom of the funnel, like, hey, today there's 10% off. Click on the link in the bio and you can go purchase, those types of things. And those would be mainly for the followers, because those videos wouldn't really go out to the masses.
Question maybe quickly to talk about these last types of videos. I've seen that TikTok is removing the functionality of having a link in the bio. How do you see that affecting, your organic marketing?
So it is going to affect it heavily if it actually happens. But then that's where something like ads are going to have to come in tandem. And I think that's why they are doing it, because they're trying to force people to spend money on ads, because then in ads you can put your links in there, right? So I still think organic is incredibly valuable, because one, you can take that piece of content that you made organically, and if it pops off and goes viral, then you can then use that as a spark ad, right? Because then you know that people actually want to see it as well. And that's what we do or encourage our clients to do as well. So we're even leaning more and more towards like the UGC style, where we're just creating content for our clients. And then they can post it wherever they want to, right? So we'll say, hey, we made this piece of content for you. So we'll post, we have like 3 different plans that we do, where it's like 3 videos a week, 5 videos a week, or 7 videos a week, where then they can use those videos for whatever they want to, right? And we always say, hey, put them as your Instagram Reels, put them on TikTok, use them as a YouTube short, use them on Pinterest, and then you can get as much organic traffic as possible. And then using those videos, also use them for your creatives for your ads, right? So if you're running Facebook ads, test those as creatives. If you're running TikTok ads, test those as creatives. If anything pops off organically, odds are it's going to do pretty well as an ad as well, or as a Spark ad.
Okay, interesting. Basically, how I understand it correctly, from my point of view, that organic marketing is something that you slowly build on the back end. It's not something that's going to necessarily bring you like a instantaneous ROI. It's something that's just going to start pumping money right away, but it takes a longer time. So, like, what's the usual ROI window you see, or like the usual results you see for clients, and how long does it usually take?
A year ago, it's different than it is now, and it also depends on the platform. SEO, I'm a huge fan of, just because I think it's something that people don't really think about. They think, oh, it takes too long, oh, it's too complicated and too technical. So that's a huge advantage for us, because then most e-commerce brands aren't necessarily doing it, right? So then for my brands or my clients' brands, then it's very easy to rank for certain keywords, right? So that's one of the positive things for SEO, is that it does happen a lot quicker. So we're getting results for our clients within like the first month. We're actually already improving about 70% of our clients' keywords, and then after 2 months, we're getting results for about 100% of them. Just because of the way that we do it, the method that we take. Normally, if you hire an agency to do SEO, they'll have like one person kind of working on their site doing stuff. Or if you hire a freelancer from Fiverr, because question that I always get all the time is like, hey, why shouldn't I hire some guy on Fiverr for $10 an hour to do all my SEO? Well, there's a lot of reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is that he's slower, obviously, because it's just one person. Whereas when we hire a client, or a client hires us rather, we have 7 people that work on a site simultaneously. So we finish things 7 times faster than anyone else, which is also why we're allowed to give clients 3 months guarantees. Where if you were to Google SEO, normally on Google it says, hey, SEO takes 6 to 12 months, and we do it in 3 months, right? So we're able to finish a lot faster. So you can see. Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, you have 70,000 blogs, which gives you a major advantage over everybody else.
That is a huge advantage as well. But then also we have the ability to do 40 hours of backlinks every single month organically, right? So those 70,000 are just another add-on, but then people don't necessarily, like the guy on Fiverr doesn't necessarily have 40 hours a month every single month to be shooting out emails, and doesn't even know necessarily who to contact and who's going to say yes. And then obviously we have relationships in the industry as well, because we've been doing it so there's just a lot of advantages, obviously, right? And then the 70,000 blogs too, that's a huge advantage. So as far as a site starting, so it's organic, right? So you can't really quantify how long it would take. If it's a site starting from absolutely zero and absolutely nothing, then it is going to take some time before you see money coming in. Before you see traffic, we always guarantee that in 3 months, right? But before you see money coming in, people actually purchasing, then it's going to sit somewhere more around the 6 to 12 month range. If there is a site that already has money coming in, meaning revenue from whatever it is, even if it's organic already, then compounding on that for us is very, very easily. Like we've seen brands that started up with us month 1 and we've upped their revenue by 50%, their organic revenue coming in from Google, right? So that's something that's very possible as well. Like there was a brand that we started 3 months ago that was doing about 30,000 in Google organic, and now they're doing 100,000 just 3 months later, right? So it's very possible and very easy to compound on top of revenue. What is harder is it's like your first 10,000 followers on Instagram. That's always the hardest, right? So with SEO, it's getting your first dollar. But once you have your first dollar, building on top of that's the easiest thing on the planet. So that would be kind of the idea of the length.
Basically get the ball rolling, and from that point on, it's easier. And then also like it's more of like an amplifier channel in a sense. Of course, you can also have it as the sole revenue channel, but more so it's more effective when it acts as the amplifier for all of your other marketing channels. And in terms of that, like what is usually for like good brands that have gone through the process like 6, 8, 12 months, whatever, what is usually like the revenue split between like paid media and like purely organic media? Like very roughly, yeah, what's the average?
Well, one, it depends on the niche of the brand, and how much they're spending on ads obviously has a huge effect on that as well. And then the great thing about ads is 43% of all purchasers actually go through Google before actually ever purchasing anything. A lot of people don't know that either. So if you're not doing SEO, you're missing out on half of the traffic on the entire planet for e-commerce. So even if someone sees your ad, a lot of people will go from the ad to Google. Pretty much about half of the people will go to the ad to Google to search to see if it shows up. And that's where a lot of those purchasers end up going to Amazon, because Amazon shows up in Google. Or if your brand shows up, then they'll be like, okay, it's legitimate, right? So then so it depends on that, because we'll get a lot of the traffic from Google as well. So if you have a tracking software like Triple Whale, for example, or something like that, you can actually track, okay, they saw the ad and then they went to Google, Googled it, and then purchased through Google. So it varies a lot, right? So we work with brands that just do solely organic. And then we've worked with brands that do a combination of both. And the good thing about SEO is it continues to compound. So it depends on how long you do it for. For example, if you want to make more money on ads, you need to spend more money, because you know you're always going to get like a 3 to 5 ROAS, right? Pretty much across the board, depending on the case. But to make more money on SEO, you just need to do it longer. Like I can start off spending $3,000 on SEO every single month, but I can do that for 24 months. But then maybe the first month I make 1,000. Okay. Well, the next month I'm going to make 1,000 again. So now I'm at 2,000. So then the next month I'm making 3,000. So by the end of the year, I'm making 12,000, but I'm still only spending 3,000. And by 24 months, I'm making 24,000, but I'm still only spending 3,000. Right. So it's going to continue to compound and rise as time goes, just because that's how organic works, generally speaking. With social media, it tends to be a little bit different, but it's not so much of a churn and burn process like it is with ads, where you're constantly looking for new people. With SEO, once you have a certain amount of traffic, you're going to keep that traffic forever if you continue doing SEO, and then you're just going to only be able to build upon that. So it varies. If you've done SEO for five years for a brand, they could be making significantly more than they're making in ads. But if you're a brand that's just starting off, then it's going to be completely different, right? Like one of the brands right now, there are organic SEO right now is organic Google traffic right now is about 25% of the revenue. But then there's a brand that we've been doing it with for about a year now, and they did about 1.5 million in Google sales, but they only did about, I think, like 500,000 in ads in total. So then Google was much, much higher, just because they've been doing it for longer.
If you need help auditing or improving your current email or SMS marketing setup, schedule a call and let's see if and how we can help. Go to agencygr.com/call and book a call with us. That's agencyj, as in Jacob, R as in Rainis.com/call, and let's talk and see if we can help. And always, like, the organic sales, they are generally much more profitable than like paid media ads. So it's a good long-term traffic you should implement if you have like a store which you plan on running for a long time, or a brand, let's say. So
which is why we tend to work with brands and not like drop shippers or anything like that. But yeah, generally in about a year, we look between a 25 to a 35 ROI. Return on their investment into us as to what they earn. So if they have a package that's like $2,000 a month, by the end of the month they're going to be making 25 to 35 that amount.
I had a really good question that just flew out of my head. So while I dig it up, Rainis, maybe any questions from you?
Right now, I've been loving this so far. One thing that I think is important is obviously organic marketing are great channels, but something you touched upon, like while we were in the waiting room, waiting to start this episode, communities. You feel in communities, and that's something that you mentioned. You gave a great example, Gymshark. I've been a customer of Gymshark since, I think, like a long time ago. And a lot of their success came from influencer marketing, which I mean is paid, the organic marketing, as well as what you mentioned, they built a community. So how do you fuel this organic marketing boom to push these people into becoming your fans in a community and monetize that?
Yeah, that's I think one of the things that a lot of people don't realize, and it's what a lot of people that have personal brands do, right? It's exactly what they do, but brands don't utilize that. Like for example, if I have a personal brand, I'm going to create content that's surrounded about helping my audience, right? Like you guys have a podcast because you want to help your audience, because you want to help other entrepreneurs, because you want to help them learn. I do the same thing on my Instagram. I create content that teaches them how to do marketing, organic marketing, how to build businesses, how to build e-commerce brands, all that kind of stuff, right? So from a sense, that is what I do to help educate and nurture my audience for the people that are coming in. But I sell something, right? I sell a service, just like you guys. You guys sell a service. And that's what a lot of brands miss and what they don't do. And they have a huge opportunity to do. And there are so many brands, especially in like the health and wellness industry, inside the clothing industry, inside whatever industry it might be. One of the best things those brands can do is help their audience, right? And a lot of people don't do that. And that's what Gymshark did. Like, yes, they did some influencer marketing, but what they really did is they created this culture around Gymshark, because sure, their clothes are all right, but they're not incredible. It's not like they reinvented the wheel or anything. They're just regular athleisure clothes and exercise clothing. But what they were able to do is bring out diet plans and make it a trend to go and lift weights at the gym. I mean, even if you peep their Instagram, it's just a bunch of people lifting weights, right? Like that's all it really is just people going to the gym and lifting weights. And then they created this culture around this going to the gym, around being healthy, around exercise plans, around nurturing this community. So then people could come there for accountability. People could come there for, I need encouragement to go to the gym. But then they also sold clothes. Right? So they were able to bring that audience in and then create repeat customers, because then people are not only talking about the brand because they like the clothing, but they're talking about the brand because how impactful it's been to their life and how it's changed their lives and how they've become healthier and how they've lost weight and how they've been able to lift more weight than they've ever been able to lift, whatever it may be. And then now they're telling all their friends, hey, look what I've been able to do. And it was all because of Gymshark. So you can do that with pretty much any single brand. I was just talking to someone that had a kids clothing brand the other day. And we were talking about all the different things that you could do with mothers, like have a Facebook group for mothers, a support group where mothers come in, they talk about their problems, they talk about what's going on, what they need help with, how they could get help with sleeping, and then give them resources. Hey, these are the 5 steps I did to get better sleep at night. This is what I did to be able to be a working mom and a stay-at-home mom at the same exact time. These are the things this is how I'm able to work while my kids are napping and do this and handle all the stress. Like there's a million different things that you could do with that crowd, and all that's going to do is bring people into that group. And then, hey, 25% off our store today. Bang. We released a new product today. And then all that's a free audience. You didn't pay for that audience, and it grows by itself because all the mothers are going to be talking to each other. They're all going to be saying, hey, check out this brand. They have a really cool community. And that's one of the best ways to nurture that community, to get those repeat customers, and then also to grow organically. And that's one of the ways that that's one of the things that I think is the biggest thing about Gymshark, is they created a culture of people that went to the gym, a culture. And when you have that culture, it's more like a religion. So everyone preaches to their friends about it, right? They say, hey, look at this brand. They're doing incredible things. And it doesn't matter at that point how even good the clothes are. They could be terrible. But it's created this culture inside the brand of it's a religion, right? Then they're preaching and they're converting all their friends to it. So then their ad spend, whatever they spend on making content, whatever they spend on influencer marketing, it's very minimal, and the return is huge, because when they spend that money when they're spending $30 to get someone to purchase something, and come onto their website, then that person stays, they see the community, they go to their social media, they see what's going on, they get that email, they see how they can join this free community, how can have something like the snowball effect where they get their own code to be an ambassador, like all these different things to be able to grow that community. And then all of a sudden they're hooked, right? They're a part of the community. They want to go to the gym more. They want to lift weights. They want to record content of themselves wearing the clothes while lifting weights. And then all that's free content and free publicity for Gymshark that they only paid $30 for.
Great, great. I think they've done a very good job in terms of covering like the grand scheme strategy of organic marketing. Like, what is it, and what are the most important things to do? Right now, I think we can switch over more to the more tactical side of organic marketing. So maybe I'll give you like a specific scenario, and you can give me the 3 top things or the 3 steps. What you recommend this store to
The
do?
pressure's on.
So let's say I am a store in the feet niche doing about 100K a month, and basically all through paid media. So what are the 3 steps on how I should get into organic marketing, of course, besides going to you and talking to you with your agency? So besides that, what should I do?
Well, I mean, SEO obviously is going to be a huge one for you. And it's one of those things. One of those things that I always talk about is it's also a status thing, right? Because if you're going to be a top brand and you want to be considered a top brand, you need to be showing up first in Google. Like, if you're not showing up first in Google, then you don't have that status, right? Like, even if you have 100 million followers on Instagram, half of the entire world goes to Google first before they buy anything, right? So if you don't have that status, if you're not showing up first for the things that apply to you, for the keywords that apply to you, then that's something super important to do. But then also you're losing half your audience, right? So SEO for me is one of the fundamental things. It's a foundational thing. Like whenever I start off my own brands or work with clients that are starting off new brands, the first thing that I always recommend is SEO. You need to start with this. Sure, at the beginning it's going to take some time to build out, but it's going to be one of those foundational things that's going to grow with you and be with you for the rest of the life of your business, right? If you're looking to build an empire and be around for a long time, you need to be showing up on Google. It's for me, it's a no-brainer. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, it takes too long. It's too much of an investment. Yeah, well, it's not too much of an investment. After 2 years, you're making 2 million in Google organic, and you just did 24 months of work or something like that, right? Like, there's a brand that we've been working with for 14 months, and they've made 1.5 million in Google search every single month now, right? Every single month. And that wasn't something that happened overnight. Sure, it took some time, but that's what part of building a business is. It takes time, right? Like, there's people that make content and have been building their personal brands for years and years and years and years. But all of a sudden, when it comes to building a brand or an e-commerce brand, then there's like, oh, no, sorry, that's going to take too long. I need money now. Right. So we that's one of the things that we don't tend to shy away from anyways, is those people that are like, well, how long am I going to get a return on my investment? Well, you know what? That's not what it's about. So we're not interested in working with you. If you're going to be every single month saying, hey, why haven't I got my money back? Hey, why haven't I got my money back? Because it's one of those foundational things that you should put in a business, right? Just like building out a team, building out a customer service team. Like, what's the return on your investment? Well, you're not going to see it now. It's going to be something that's going to happen in the future. So that's one of the big things for sure. But if they're running ads specifically, then they also need to have a good presence on social media and make sure that they're posting consistent content. So posting that consistent content that sure is that trendy stuff, but it's also the educational stuff that I was mentioning, to be able to nurture that audience that maybe came in through ads, right? Because a lot of people know, they're going to look at the ad, but then they're going to click on your Instagram account to see how many followers you have, to see what kind of content you have, to see if you're posting consistently, to see if it looks like a scam. And that's all thanks to dropshipping shorts, of course, because they ran all those ads, and then people went to the Instagram accounts and there was nothing there, and they're like, oh, okay, well, so thanks to them, we're now able to show those distinct differences. But that's an important one as well, is being able to post that content consistently and show that social proof. So making sure that you have videos from various people, videos that look natural, that user generated type content. And then the last one we just touched on, which is that community development. So trying to think of things that you can immediately take with your audience that's coming in and then nurture upon them, whether it's a Discord group, a Facebook group, whether it's making your users ambassadors, whether it's giving out discount codes if they post on their social media, whether it's posting diet plans, whether it's posting support groups, whatever it may be, right? Depending on the niche. But those are the three things that a brand I think should do even before they're doing ads. That should be ground one, and then graduating to ads. But if they're doing it backwards, then they just need to backtrack and get to that.
Okay, very, very good. Maybe like a quick explanation point in terms of like the social media. Are there, obviously I think TikTok is going to be the best platform, but like how do you rank the social media platforms in terms of importance? I'm guessing TikTok first, but like what comes after that?
It depends. I don't even know if I would rank TikTok first. Because they have two different functions. Instagram, if you had asked me 2 years ago, is more in the place where TikTok is now, where it was just easy to grow organically quickly. And that was just really the purpose of Instagram, was just to grow quickly and then get an audience and start selling to them, right? That was the purpose of it, which is now what TikTok is right now. It's trying to get an audience as quickly as possible, going viral, making as many videos as possible, testing different strategies. Like that's what TikTok is. So if you're asking from a sales point of view, then yes, that's a very good place to go to get those brand new people that don't know who you are and to grow quickly organically. However, Instagram nowadays holds a completely different role, where now Instagram is much more back to kind of what I was talking about, nurturing community. That's what Instagram's kind of role is right now, that brands are able to use that to nurture their audience and to help grow them, right? So yes, TikTok is great for viral content, for growing big. But then the idea that we try to do with our brands is sending them from TikTok either to the website or even to the Instagram, because the Instagram is where we're then able to nurture them, because you can post stories, you can have highlights, you can put links in different places, you can put longer bios, you can interact with these people better through messages, because through TikTok you have to follow them in order to message them. So there's a bunch of different things, right, that you can do in order to interact with your community and grow with your community. And that's what I see Instagram's role nowadays. Like a lot of people are like, man, I just need more followers and more followers and more followers on Instagram. Well, really, that's not the case. If you have 1,000 followers on there, that's pretty significant in Instagram's. And if you're able to nurture that community and talk with them and react to their content and see what's going on in their lives and build relationships with them, then you just need 1,000 people to buy your product and then tell their friends, right? Then you're growing already. So that's where I see more Instagram being, because then it's also people that can share your stories, that can tag you in their posts. So there's just a lot of different options, and that's really great to build that community on Instagram that TikTok doesn't have, right? TikTok is great for growth, as I mentioned, but then Instagram has that more of that community vibe where it's building a community and nurturing them. So I would put them at equal importance, right? I think it's very important to be on TikTok if you want to grow organically and get that rapid viral content. But then Instagram is incredibly important as well to be able to grow that audience. And then Pinterest is another one that sits right below there, which a lot of people don't realize, depending on your niche, obviously. But if you post videos on Pinterest, they still go bonkers organically. And that's people that are basically searching for kind of what they want to buy, right? It's not like a general social media. They're looking for ideas of things that they want to buy or crafts that they want to do. And if you have your product on there, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to do that. And then they're there to buy it already, right? Just a funny example. There's this brand that I was testing out organically just to see if I wanted to launch it or not. And last year, actually around this time in August, I posted about 10 videos on Pinterest. That was it. Got some really good traffic. Got about it was like 10,000 visitors to my site just from 10 videos on a brand new account. And every single month I get emails from Pinterest saying, you got 10,000 visitors this month. You got 10,000 visitors this month. So for the past year, I've been getting 10,000 visitors to that website that I don't even use anymore, just because I had posted those 10 videos on there, right? So Pinterest has an organic ability that a lot of people don't realize, and it's not time stamped like TikTok or Well, TikTok isn't as timestamp, but it's not timestamp like Instagram is. It's something that, hey, if you're getting that organic traffic, it's just going to continue to come in, because if Pinterest sees that people like it, they're going to continue to push it out to their users.
The one question which I'm always extremely curious about the different marketing channels is the ideal case scenario, or the ideal brand niche, whatever, for that specific marketing channel. For example, marketing, like the ideal case scenario would be a brand that's selling consumable products with like short consumable cycles. And sure, like email marketing, organic marketing can work for the feed niche, sports niche, wallet niche, but like what would be the top one best niche for organic marketing? Actually, let's put more pressure on you. If you had to make 1 million from organic marketing as quickly as possible, what would be the one niche you'd choose?
So you have to think about trends. So it depends on if I'm looking to make money quick and then be okay with it not being a brand forever, then it's one thing. But if I'm just looking more of, hey, in 1 year I just want to make as much money as possible, and then after that year I'll be fine if it doesn't last longer than that, right? So there are two different scenarios. The first scenario, if I'm just looking to make money quick as possible, you have to find a trendy, eye-catching product, because that's what is going to do best on TikTok. So things that are trendy products, or that are eye-catching, or that will go viral easily. So there's even stupid examples, like things like fidget spinners or stuff like that look really cool on videos and that are easy to go viral. Or I'm sure you guys have seen those lighters, of just like those crazy lighters that are the torch lighters, or even things like shapewear, or whatever is like a trend right now for people. Because if it's a trend for people and people are buying it, like athleisure isn't necessarily a trend. It's a growing industry, but it's not a trend, right? So if I wanted a long-term brand, I would pick something like athleisure and just build a good community of people, put out diet plans, all that kind of stuff. Yes, it would grow quickly, but then I would want it to last forever. If I was looking for something that just is good for right now, I'd be looking for some kind of trendy product in an industry that is growing, but we all know is probably going to die off, right? So different things like that, because those are the things that are going to go viral on TikTok very quickly, right? Like shapewear brands go viral very quickly. All those trendy, like light up fidget spinner disc things that you can throw around, that you can play with your friends, games, those trendy card games where you, like the drinking card game, like all those things that are just like more of like trends that people are going to buy for like a year solid and then forget that they ever even had them and never come back to buy them again. Those would be the things that go viral on TikTok the quickest, and that are easiest to run ads on as well, because then people see it and they're like, oh yeah, all my friends are talking about these, because it's a trend, right? But then if you're looking to actually build a brand that'll last for a while, athleisure is an industry that continues to grow, and that will probably grow, and that will even grow during a recession or anything like that, because people are always going to want to get healthy and to exercise. So that would be probably one that I would lean towards if I was looking for something like that, because building that kind of community is very easy, because then once you have athleisure, then you can do supplements, then you can do exercise plans, then you can do diet plans, then you can help them with their groceries, then you can do all these different kinds of things that builds upon that and continues to grow that MMR that you're looking for.
Gotcha. Perfect. I think so far it's been a wonderful episode. So before we end off, Rain, is any questions from you?
Yeah. If Zach, you had to go back in time to your 20-year-old self, what would be the advice you'd give yourself so your business would be even bigger?
The advice that I would give myself, if I went back to my 20-year-old self. Now, listen, people have asked me this question before, and I normally answer it in this way, so I'm going to answer it again. If I went back to my 20-year-old self, what would I change? And my answer is always nothing. And I say that because the journey that I have gone through, the failures that I have had, the successes that I've had, the mishaps that I've had, the mistakes that I've made, the stalling that I've gone through, unproductive years that I've had have made me into the person that I am today. So if it wasn't for all of those situations in the past years, I wouldn't be where I am today or even who I am today. So yes, it would be fantastic if who I am today, I could transport that same exact person 20 years ago, but that's not necessarily reality. Us as humans, we learn through experiences, we learn through failures, we learn through mistakes, and through just learning, right? So I've worked in a ton of different industries and made a ton of mistakes and got experience in a lot of different places that wouldn't have been possible if I had lived my life differently. So every time someone asks me what I would do differently, my answer is always nothing, because I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have learned the same lessons, and I wouldn't even have had the success that I'm having now if it wasn't for all of that stuff, right? So that's generally speaking my answer for that.
Then maybe let me rephrase the question. So let's say, like, what is the biggest top one piece of learning or advice you would give to someone else who's 20 years old, not you? Like the one piece of advice, like over the years, there's obviously different like things you learn, how to deal with the world, how to work in the business world, and so on. Like one piece of advice that stands out.
Help people. Focus on helping people. The only thing that matters in this life is people. So if whatever you're doing, make sure that it has to do with helping people, right? Like that's something, I'm a Christian as well, so helping people and loving God are my two things. But helping people for me is always the biggest thing that I look to accomplish. Like through how that's one of our biggest pillars inside of my marketing agency is that we're there to help e-commerce businesses grow long term. Like that's why we're not giving them a get rich quick scheme. We're helping them grow into the empire they want to be, into the business that they want to be. And then with my employees, all the employees I have, whether they're planning on being with us long term, or whether they're planning on leaving and building their own business. I want them to leave better than when they came, and I'm going to do the best that I possibly can so that they can get to that. And then even on the back end of my industry, we donate a percentage of everything that we do to doing free marketing training and free marketing to nonprofits in third world countries. So that's one of those ways that we emulate that philosophy of always giving back and of always helping. Because that is what I believe is the most important thing, that if you're genuinely looking to help people and if you're generally looking to help, that's when you're going to be one of the best version of yourself, and that you're going to have the most quote unquote success and happiness. Because in the end, sure, you can be worth 8 figures, you can be worth $1 billion, but if you had to step on people to get there, then in the end you're going to be miserable, right? Like you have the money now what, right? But I think it's the impact that we can have on this world, and specifically people, that is one of the most important things. So if you're looking on, hey, I don't know what to do in my entrepreneurial journey, I don't know what to do here, well, what are you good at, and how can you help people be good at that as well?
Okay, great. I fully agree. I think that this has been a wonderful, value-packed episode. So before we end, Zach, like where can people find you?
My handle, I'm really mostly active on Instagram. I do starting stuff on other networks as well. But you can find me on Instagram with my name. It's Hey, Hey, Zach Schubert. So at Hey Zach Schubert is where people can find me.
Alright, so go look up Zach Schubert on IG if you're looking for extra help with organic marketing. And thank you for listening, and thank you for hopping on, Zach. See ya. Bye-bye. If you thought this episode was valuable, share it with a friend that may find this useful, and leave a 5-star review so you can reach more influential people and bring the lessons back to you. See you in the next episode.